Welcome to the Reddit library. What is something that you would never confess to your family? I'm really happy to only see them once or twice a year due to living 3,000 miles away. I just can't stand them. They all gossip and talk hid and spin their wheels so much you can't even have a normal conversation with any of them. It's all drama and always has been. I never understood how and why I was so depressed my entire life. Found escapism through alcohol and partying. Since I've lived across the country I'm sober, have a super awesome family and I barely ever see them. It's great. Yes. My insides scream at family dinners. I have a daughter. I've never wanted kids, but being young, dumb and full of cum I got my fiancée pregnant, but with our issues we couldn't deal with actually taking care of a kid, so we put her up for adoption. The family who got her was very excited and had been trying for almost a decade to have one of their own but couldn't. They had just gotten through the background stuff the month before she was born and this was their first chance at actually adopting. They were super happy. My fiancé cried at giving her to them and I just wanted to go get ducked up and forget it. We got married and divorced a few years back and I got my life together, but occasionally I think of her but can't bring myself to try and chat. I would have ruined that child's life. You did the best thing for her. If you're worried about what she may think of you, there's no explanation you need to give her, because her life is the explanation. You didn't just make her life better, you made two people the happiest people they could have been with how much they had wanted a child. Now that your life is together, if you want to, make a small savings right now and start saving for college or a down payment for a house or something. It's not about buying her love, but it could show that even though you weren't in her life you were thinking about her and you are ready to see her if she ever decides she wants to reach out to you. That I was sexually abused by a friend of my mother's when I was about 7 years old. My brother was by a different person and that is known. There is nothing to be gained. Edit. Thank you guys for your comments and messages. You were as a majority as awesome as I thought you would be. 1k maybe personally you don't think there's anything to gain, but telling your family and outing whoever did that to you makes it harder for them to do it again to other kids. You didn't deserve what happened to you, and no one else deserves it to happen to them. Even if it's been years, if they are out and free and still have access to kids, it's worth it to say that I don't feel like part of the family. I feel like I don't belong and like I'm just a substitute for when my brother isn't around. I don't feel respected or wanted. I feel like my girlfriend's family likes me more than they do, and if I had the funds to I would have moved out long ago and they probably wouldn't have seen or heard from me since, apart from maybe Christmas, and that is only because of my CNS. I was like that, but when my dad realized it, he focused on me much more than my siblings. He has the same hit growing up. He used to be equal to all, but he didn't have much time cause of work, so it was just mom and my siblings. My sister and baby brother got most attention, unless I did work for anybody in my extended family also. A family member used to live in our home, groomed me and sexually abused me when I was around 12/0. Not sure about the age, don't really want to remember. But yeah, I don't think I would ever tell them. I'm not even sure they would believe me. Happened to me when I was in 5th grade by my older sister's boyfriend. I told when I was an adult, and they didn't even pretend to believe me. I told my mother L was messed with as a kid when I was an adult. Last year, I was 26, and she basically accused me of making it up. To this day, out of everything in my life, I have never felt more rejected and disappointed than in that moment. I could have seen it coming from a mile away though, so at least I wasn't surprised. Sorry you went through this. There's no way around it. It just ducking sucks. My younger aunt and I almost fooled around when we were kids. We didn't know about each other, and when we both met she was 13, I was 15. As we grew up there was a ton of flirting and sexual tension. It never came to anything, thank God, but we had some intimate conversations around it. Oddly enough, both of us are very close today and have even spoke about how ridiculous the whole thing was. Edit for some FAQ in comments. Asterisk technically my half aunt. Mom had me at 1. 6. Grandpa had an affair with another woman, produced my aunt 2 years later, and subsequently left grandmother for other woman. For the record, both of those women are lovely. I rarely see the grandmother who lives far away, but the other woman lives in the same state, and sees her great grandson and I with some frequency. Neither of us want to bone the other anymore, and at least one of us is happily married. We are both embarrassed, but I think she's more embarrassed than I am. That being said, she is very attractive and younger me fantasized about it a lot, and I will always have those fantasies with me. We have children and those children see each other infrequently, attend each other's birthday parties, yada yada. We've rarely talked about it, but when we have it's very dismissive, like what the hell was wrong with us type thing. Obviously, it's always there for me, and I'm pretty sure for her. I can't interact with her without thinking, hey, remember that time we talked about fooling around, and then never did. I really don't enjoy spending time with them. I've been the black sheep since I was a child, and it sucks when the entire family thinks of you as the mean one, then wonder why you don't have any interest in spending time with them. I'm the picky, selfish, resting bitch-faced black sheep to my family. I will admit I was misbehaved when I was a kid 10 plus years ago, but I'm not a child anymore. They just refuse to think of me as any different than I was, and keep bringing up the past. Also, it's not picky to not want to eat off of dirty crusty plates, dad. Oh my god. I'm still a picky eater, but years of having to acclimate to my friends and dormant eating habits in college made me significantly less picky. Even so, it took years to get my dad to stop saying we can't go have sushi because aggravating cupcake doesn't eat sushi, or aggravating cupcake doesn't eat lettuce or tomatoes. Every time I corrected him for years, he'd be all surprised. I feel like for my parents, they kind of decided that whoever I was at 18 was whoever I was going to be forever. As much as I try, it's next to impossible to articulate how they made us, my siblings and myself, feel as children and the deep-seated emotional trauma that brings with it. We love each other even now, and by no means were they terrible people or the kind of parents that I'd have been taken away with. They did their best and tried so hard, but they aren't perfect and their mistakes cut deep. I still have a relationship with both of them, and I love them dearly. I guess that's probably why I'll never tell them how awful it all was. I physically can't bring myself to it. It's like trying to talk when your tongue goes numb. I can't imagine breaking it to them that they sucked. I hear you there. My parents are good people and try their best, but the stuff they get wrong has lasting impact on all of us. We aren't close as a family. I don't know how to open up to people, except Reddit, but that isn't the same as opening up directly to a person. Throughout my childhood I would go back and forth between loving and hating them. My little sister, 7, gets not nearly enough attention. Me and my oldest brother spend most of the day in our rooms. Quarantine has us all living together. I just can't tell them how much it's hurt. All the things from childhood that continue to affect us. My mom in particular would feel so bad. And what good would it do anyway? I just can't. The fact that I've been depressed for more than half my life. I remember a family friend had committed suicide and my parents were saying I don't understand how someone could do that. I calmly said I could really relate to why someone would do that. The look of disbelief and desperation on my mother's face broke my heart, and I realized how she had interpreted what I said. I don't live at home, and for almost a month afterwards she would call me every day to check on me and make sure I was okay, and tell me that I'm loved, and if I ever needed to talk about anything she and my father were always there for me. My husband knows, but I'm very apathetic and don't feel a lot. I do feel and have feelings, but not the same as other people seem to. I know what I should feel and have learned how to react when I need to, but I tend to truly only feel more extreme emotions, and the rest of the time I'm just content or neutral. So that's the word to describe that. Yeah, I think I'm that too. This sounds like reduced affect display / emotional blunting, which is a good indicator of things like autism and depression. Have you spoken to a doctor about it? Edit. People have pointed out that this feels more like an hedonia. Point is, it's definitely worth talking to a doctor about it. Possibly nothing will come of this discussion, but it's likely that you'll end up feeling better for a long time if you do. My extended family thinks I've had no career or salary advancement for 10 years. I play a bumbling idiot with them who just can't catch a break. Reason being, they're a cavalcade of self-inflicted sob stories and GoFundMe grifters. I don't want to be hit up for loans every other week. I'm actually a senior manager at an established consulting firm. If they had a good reason for their misery other than got drunk with the money for bills and didn't pay them, I would help them out. Pretending to be a struggling idiot deflects any attempts at soliciting me for money. Note, I live out of state from them, and they don't travel. So I only have to maintain this foolish charade for Thanksgiving and Christmas. My parents are in on it. Plot twist, your entire family is a bunch of millionaires playing the same con. My family does not know that many times I stopped eating so that they can eat. We do not have much money because we are immigrants, and for this reason I do not earn much money at my job. I just wanted to let off steam. Have a nice day. Edit. I read the messages and I'm happy to know that there are such good people on the internet who care about others. That gives me hope that humanity is not completely lost. Thank you very much for your wishes. I joined the Navy to get away from them, not because I felt some sort of patriotic duty like they tell people. I liked it. I found a purpose. I got great training that got me the job I have today. But I did it because I hated it at home. Edit. While this blew up, I've been trying to answer questions and DMs, but I was on mobile last night, so sorry if I didn't get to them until this morning. Just a little elaboration. I was in from 1997 to 2005. Joined after high school that I was expelled from, but graduated through the special programs and was on probation because of why I was expelled. I was acting out a lot because of home life. A lot has changed in training, so I'll answer questions as best I can. Thanks for all the support and the awards. Marine here. I feel this. Marines were actually my first choice. Joined in 97. Got out in 05. Glad went with the Navy. That I've been sexually assaulted from a young age from multiple guys, one of them being my older brother. My mum found out about one of them, and she called me a lady of the night, then said she wished I wasn't her daughter because I'm a disgrace and I ruined her life. So I never told her anything about any of the others. In the worst part of my alcoholism, I tried to overdose on sleeping pills. In the way to the hospital, my mom said it might have been better for everyone if I just did the deed. I haven't forgiven her, and I don't know if I can. Edit. Thank you for the messages. I read them all, even if I didn't reply. I've bettered myself since this happened almost 7 years ago. I'll have 3 years in September. I still love my mother and I understand how she could say this in the moment. I know what I did, and I accept responsibility. I hope I can separate my own pain and insecurity, and like a few people said, therapy would help once I have health insurance again. I don't want vindication or revenge for what happened. Someone I love said something devastating to me at my lowest point. As you/Atrika said, I understand why she did this, but I'm not okay with it. At least not yet.